Hey guys, Peter here to do an album review. Today I'm here to tell you all about the latest from Avatar Hunter Gatherer, out August 7th on E1 and Century Media Records. This album has 10 tracks, 46 minutes in length, and this is the band's 8th full-length studio album. The Eagle has landed with a very interesting album, both musically and lyrically. From a lyrical perspective, I felt that this album was a themed record. Not a concept album, but definitely a theme record. And that theme is humanity. The more you listen to the album, the more you listen to the songs, the more you start to realize that there is a main point, a focus on every single song. And that point is very consistent across all tracks, and that is humanity. Where we were, where we are, where we headed. As far as the structure of the record is concerned, I like where it starts. It starts off with Silence and the Age of Apes, a song that has a very Avatar-like guitar riff. The moment this song starts, you know you're listening to an Avatar album. That's how you want to start a brand new record, with a track that fans can understand, feel comfortable getting into, and then you can switch things up as you move along down the line with the other tracks on the album. But you want the opening track, specifically when you're creating an album that's very dynamic, that's very eclectic, and you're going to throw some curveballs at the fans down the line. You really want to start off with a track that has a little bit of a touch of the past. And in my opinion, this song does that in the way it sounds and the way it's put together. But from a structural perspective, everything changes after that. This is a record that doesn't have two songs that are created the same. Every song has its own fingerprint. Every song was constructed in its own way, is very different from each other, which makes the album very broken. At first glance, I really felt that the structure is perhaps the weakest point on the album, because it doesn't give me this linear path. It doesn't take me from point A to point B. It takes me on a journey, it takes me to different places. I'm never really comfortable within this album because I just don't know what the next song is going to bring. There isn't a balance within the record itself, within the structure of the record itself. It's like space. It's very volatile. There's a vacuum in there, and you just don't know exactly where you're going. Having said that, once you start going through it multiple times and you start to realize that overall theme that the record has, you start to feel that that theme and the sound that the album has are the two key ingredients that really hold it together. Perhaps allowing the album not to have a linear path or a cohesive existence, but still feel like an overall record that just has a different way of coming at you. It has a different way of approaching itself. And that's fine, because those two elements are strong enough across all 10 songs to keep things moving, to keep you interested, to keep you engaged in the record and in the songs themselves. As far as sound goes, this overall is a very heavy album. Not every song is super heavy. It's an album that really has a lot of melodic parts to it. Songs change within themselves, starting off more heavy, then becoming more melodic, then back to heavy, or the other way around. So this is an album that musically is going to offer you a lot of different looks, a lot of different perspectives, but overall is very heavy. I really felt that they took what they did best across their previous 7 albums. They brought those influences. So instead of going outside the box and looking for influences outside of their realm, they went within their own Avatar country, and they brought influences from the previous 7 records into this one, and they added a little bit more of a thrash sound to it. So this is really Avatar in its essence as far as the sound is concerned. There's certain songs that you can almost pinpoint which previous album influenced the creation of this track, and then you add a little bit of thrash on top of it, and overall the mixture of these moving pieces makes for a very heavy, a very driven, a very powerful album from a sound perspective. Vocally, what can I say? Johannes is absolutely phenomenal, as he always is. But I felt that on this record, he brought something slightly different. You're always going to get the clean vocals. You're always going to get the harsh vocals. You're always going to get the perfect balance within the tracks of when to go with one style, when to go with the other. On this record, I felt because of the lyrical theme of the songs, he brought some deeper emotion. He went deep into the darkness of his own soul, and he brought something a little bit different. He was able to change in some songs a little bit of his tone, a little bit of his delivery, making the overall performance a lot more palpable, giving a little bit of soul to it and not being as mechanical and just going with that clean and harsh approach. So I really like what he did on this record, definitely elevating what he had done up until now, and I felt that this was one of those albums that he's going to be able to look back and really see the growth that he has had as a vocalist across all 8 records, really culminating on this one. Overall, this is a magnificent album. Very diverse, very unique, very heavy, and very consistent. While the structure feels inconsistent, overall the album is very consistent from top to bottom. There are a lot of curveballs on this record. There are a lot of things that perhaps Avatar fans are going to be surprised by, but this is definitely an Avatar album. It wouldn't be an Avatar album without some surprises, without some curveballs. That's what they do on every record. Either they do it as a whole, when you look at a record, or individually when you look at the tracks within the record. But this is a phenomenal album by Avatar, and if you're expecting a heavy record from Avatar, you're going to get it. And if you're expecting an album that's going to have a lot of different nuances to it, you're also going to get it. As far as songs are concerned, I want to start off with my favorite song on the album, A Secret Door. It opens up with Corey Taylor from Slipknot and Stone Sour whistling, and they're going to use that whistle throughout the track. The darkness that whistle, the melody of that whistle has is absolutely, it's just, I was going to say gut-wrenching, but it just gives me goosebumps every time this song starts off and I hear that whistle. It's just so incredibly dark, so melodic at the same time, and it has a little bit of a Western vibe to it. It almost feels like the opening of a Western movie. It has that sort of melody to it. It has that sort of suspense, that sort of darkness, almost like a thriller-like, but in a Western format. And I like how it sounds, and I like how it permeates throughout the whole song. It's really more noticeable in the verses specifically than it is in the chorus, because the chorus is very heavy, it's very melodic, very explosive, mixing harsh and clean vocals, while in the verses you're only getting that melody and you're getting clean vocals. So the verses really set the tone for this song, really bringing the mood down, and then when the chorus hits, the song explodes. It becomes a very dynamic track, a very explosive track, all the anger is coming out, and it's really noticeable in how they constructed this track with this up and down roller coaster feel across the whole song. I really like it, but overall I like the atmosphere. I like the melody that this song has, and I like that dark balance that stays true even in the most dynamic portions of the song. Even during the chorus, you still feel like dark underbelly. That melody, that whistle is just absolutely incredible. One of the best songs on the album, my favorite song on the record. Next is Justice, heavy from the opening. Drums, guitars, vocals, everything is heavy about this track. I like a little bit of the nu metal nuances that influence the sound on this song, specifically coming from the bass. It's really predominant, really groovy. It really adds a different feel in how this song is constructed. The chorus breaks away musically and vocally from the rest of the song. It really offers a reset for the track, and I like that. I like songs that use the chorus almost as a reset button. It allows you to really switch where you're going, and allows the song not to sound or feel repetitive. The vocal narrator that they used on this track as a vocal bridge works phenomenally well. It really matches the concept of the track, it matches the construction of the track, but perhaps more importantly, works really well with the theme of the song and the theme of the lyrics. So I felt like it added a different atmosphere, it really added a different presence. It added almost a space odyssey vibe to it. I just love the construction, and I love that bridge. So short, but so powerful and so important in how this song is constructed. Last but not least, Gun, the most unique song on this album. Piano, strings, vocals. That's it. That's all you're gonna get. An absolute phenomenal track. The first time that I listened to this song, I loved the track. I just not necessarily loved where the track was on the track listing. Here we go again, going back to the structure, to the overall structure and track listing of the album not being one of my favorites. I just felt that this song was strangely placed within the record. Now, if you look at the theme of the song, this one comes right after Justice. And the theme in Justice permeates through the theme in Gun. So the two are kind of interconnected as far as the lyrical content is concerned. So from that perspective, it makes sense that these two songs come one after the other. If they came further apart, I don't think it would have worked from a lyrical perspective for both of them. But they really need to be together. I just feel like perhaps this song should have been a little bit higher up on the track listing or the closing track, because this song has that curtain coming down feel to the song. And it's really hard because it's a song that's very emotionally driven. Not just from the sound that the pianos, the vocals, and the strings create, but also from the lyrical content and how Johannes delivers that lyrical content with a very unique tone, with a very unique delivery. So everything that surrounds this song has a sense of closure because it's so dark, it's so menacing. It just feels like there's no hope, there's no light at the end of the tunnel after you're listening to this song. So you almost feel like this has to come at the end. But once you start listening to the other tracks and you start to understand what the lyrics are on every single song, you start to understand better why the song is where it is. Having said that, I would still like to see this track pushed up, further up on the track listing, be more towards the middle of the album, almost work itself as a reset, as a dip in the record, and then allow the aggression and intensity to continue afterwards. Moving just one song would definitely make the fluidity of the album it would make the album more cohesive overall, and definitely would improve, in my opinion, the structure of the record. Having said that, I understand why they did it, how they did what they did, because from a lyrical perspective, there is a sequence across every single song, and I felt that perhaps this one, from that perspective and that perspective only, had to be where it is, even though I would like to see it moved more from a structural perspective than a lyrical perspective. This is it, guys. This is Avatar with Hunter Gatherer, once again out August 7th on E1 and Century Media Records. Let me know your thoughts on the band, on the singles. Use the comment section below. I'll be reading those and getting back to you. Take care, guys.